Community Hotline is made possible with generous support by the Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission. The Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission advocates on behalf of the public interest on communications policy issues at the local, state, and federal levels.
Hi and welcome to Community Hotline. I'm Monica Weitzel. We're here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. Tonight we've got a full show and we're going to start off talking with the City of Gresham, and the subject tonight will be their Repair Cafe that's coming up. And with us to talk about that we have Shauna Sutcliffe. You're the Residential Recycling Coordinator for the city. Nice to have you here again.
Thank you.
And Carol, thank you. And Carol Rula, you are the President of the Coalition of Gresham Neighborhood Associations.
Right.
Thanks for being here, Carol.
Thank you.
So the repair cafes, they're all over the place. I keep hearing more and more about them. Can you give me a little background about, first of all, where they started and why they started?
Yeah, so repair cafes originally started in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. And the idea was, you know, we live in a throwaway culture. There's all these things that you get and, you know, they break and you can just buy another one for not very much. And little repair shops were kind of going out of business. There weren't places you could take a fan or a vacuum to get repaired anymore. So they would have these pop-up shops and call them repair cafes, and usually have them in a place where you could get food and drink
like
to gather
cafe.
community. Yeah. Exactly. Gather community, gather volunteers that were handy and had the skills to fix items. And in about 2013, the City of Portland and a local nonprofit there, you know, kind of became interested in this idea and started them up in Portland. And then a couple of years ago, we wanted to start that in Gresham.
That's great. Now, so you said they started in the Netherlands. So are they all over the world? All
over the world, pretty much. I mean, anyone can have one, and it's just like a template. They'll give away the plan to do this. You know, they want to have them everywhere.
That's part of the deal is not only just having the fixers who fix things, it's also showing people that things can be fixed and showing people how to fix things.
Ah, okay. So it's not, so it's not just bring it here, you fix it for me.
Right.
Learn how to do it yourself. So what, or is it just cities that are involved with it, or can anybody set one up in their town?
Anybody. Really, it's being driven by mostly a nonprofit in the city of Portland. And then in the city of Gresham, you know, we partnered with the Coalition of Neighborhoods so that it would also be a grassroots thing. It's not just coming from, you know, the government, and we're serving the community, but it's also part of the community. So yeah, anyone can do one anywhere, whether it's an individual or a government or a nonprofit.
Yeah.
And in Washington County, they have it like with the library system and stuff. So
that's an interesting concept, different ways you could do it. I mean, it could be a neighborhood association, just one in their neighborhood, or it could be a, you know, it could be a Boy Scout group or something, I suppose, that did it.
Well, recruiting the fixers takes some effort.
So that's
something that the neighborhood associations, you know, we help recruit the fixers through Nextdoor and neighborhood meetings and just getting out and handing out flyers in the neighborhood and talking to people and things like that. So, you know, the neighborhood associations do a lot of work. It's a real partnership. It's not just the city of Gresham. They provide the background, but you know.
I'm sure the collaboration makes it a lot easier for everybody to have that, because you know, you have resources, and pulling them together makes it a lot easier.
Absolutely.
So why was this important to the city of Gresham to do this?
Yeah, well, the City of Gresham Recycling Solid Waste Division, I mean, our goal has always been recycling, you know, thinking about keeping things out of the landfill. But really, in Oregon, everyone's pretty good at recycling. We've been doing it for so long, you know, our kindergartners can recycle now. So it's kind of like everybody does it. So what's next? Well, you can reduce waste, you can reuse things, and you can repair things. So the 3 R's are kind of turning into the 4 R's now: recycle, reduce, reuse, and repair. And instead of throwing out that old fan when it's broken and just buying a new $20 one, because that is really easy. $20 isn't a lot to most people. You can take it and get it repaired for free, and then you get to keep using that item over and over again. It prevents that new item from being made in the first place and shipped to us, and keeps that old one from going to the landfill or from being dumped illegally or being recycled, if that's the way it goes.
Right. I think that our culture has changed a lot, and I'm wondering your opinion on that, but it seems like things used to be made to last longer.
Yes.
And we didn't have that, everything wasn't disposable. We've learned to just throw things away. And I think this is sort of a culture change back to the way it was, I think, to have people fixing things. So maybe like somebody recently told me they wanted to get a pair of shoes repaired, and they had a heck of a time finding somebody to repair their shoes, because they say, well, you can get a new pair. If you want an inexpensive pair, you can get one at, a shoe store that's fairly, cheap.
But there are people who can't even afford to buy that new $20 fan. So it saves you money, and we do help a lot of people that couldn't afford to repair it. We also see a lot of old things that people don't want to throw away.
Right.
It was grandma's waffle iron, and they want to keep it.
Sentimental value, maybe.
Or it's just really good. If we could just fix it, it would last a long time. And so if you get into the mentality that we should fix things, then you're willing to spend a little bit more money up front buying items that last longer. And so it's partly just changing our mentality too.
Quality over quantity, and
yeah,
that makes sense. So what I gather too is that there are skills. It's a skill to be able to fix things. I mean, I'm not particularly good at fixing mechanical things or electrical things, but you have people that you bring together that are able to do that. So tell me how this works. So say you're going to have the repair fair or a repair cafe, and I've got a couple things that need to be repaired. So I'm going to show up. What can I expect?
Well, we're going to check you in, and we have a little form that you sign that you say you recognize this is a volunteer event. We're going to do the best we can. There are no guarantees.
Okay.
And then we give you a little ticket where you kind of write down your name, and we classify you as to whether you're bringing a bike, a small appliance, an electronics computer thing, or an article of clothing for our sewing fixers to fix. And that way we send you the right place and give you a number so that we're taking it in line. But we're only going to allow you to take one item through at a time, because if we can have a lot of people, we can't allow you to come in with 4 people and take up all the time.
Here's my truckload of things that need to be repaired.
Right. So, but if we repair that one and there's nobody waiting, or there's just like not as many people show up, we encourage you to go ahead and bring more, because it's better to have our fixers busy and having something to do. But just know that you may want to prioritize what's your most important thing you'd like to have fixed, and do that one first.
Now, some of these things that you have on the table here are things obviously that need to be fixed. So say this is say this was mine, and I wanted to get this fixed, this CD player. What do I need to do? So I bring it, and maybe somebody's able to fix it for me.
If it has batteries in it, bring us some batteries, because we need to check it. We can't do something like that.
So how are you going to find out if you even fix it if you don't, or find out what the problem is if you don't have the batteries?
And bring your headphones or a speaker or something to plug into it. So if it's playing, the batteries are working. We know the headphones, are working.
To put in to make sure.
Of course. Now those are things that people probably wouldn't always think of.
Right.
If you had well, say for example this, you brought this lamp.
Yeah.
If you're going to have this fixed, bring the light bulb.
Bring the light bulb, yeah. And your fixer will sit with you and kind of explain to you what they're doing. So that, especially if you need another part, if they open it up and say, okay, well this part is broken, you need to order this or go buy this, and this is how you're going to install it. There's a lot of fixes that almost get fixed, and then they send folks on their way with more instructions. If they can fix it completely, they're kind of talking you through the process, so next time you might have an idea on how to do it.
So then are you saying, Shauna, that if they're not able to fix it, they will possibly be able to explain it to me how to fix it, or maybe teach me how to fix it myself?
Absolutely, yeah. There are a few things that we've had where the fixers just all agreed, yeah, this is it's just dead. It's not, we can't fix it.
It is garbage now.
But for the most part, there's just a thing missing that we need to send folks to get, to buy or order or whatever.
So tell me, you brought a lamp, you brought a fan, a CD player, and then
A sweater.
Was this just your sweater, or is this something that could be fixed?
As an example, if you're missing buttons, or there's a seam ripped, or you need something hemmed, a friend asked me the other day, well, can I bring my pants that are too long? Can they hem them for me? Yes, well, absolutely.
That's a little harder. That's not really a repair, and you've got to have them pinned up and stuff, so we can't do that.
It's harder.
Right, that was when we didn't have many people, but if we had a lot of people, we wouldn't have time to help you pin them up. So if you had them all pinned up and ready to go,
you just needed somebody to hem them real quick.
It, right? Yeah. And we're actually going to have sewing fixers this time. We've got a special table of a woman who's going to show you how to recycle old clothing, fabric things, how to reuse it, and how to repair it. And so she'll be doing hand sewing. We're also going to have somebody demonstrating how to sew a button on. So if your button comes off and you've lost it, find another button you want us to sew on, because we won't have a button that matches.
I've got a ton of buttons.
Matching thread if you care about it.
So if the seam's here, I mean, somebody could do it on a machine, or they could do it by hand. But if it was a button, you're obviously going to do that by hand.
Right. And they'll show you how to
teach people how to do that. And
that I can do. But
that is something that I think is an important skill. Everybody should know how to sew on a button. And we were teaching kids at the last repair fair how to do it.
It's a great fun thing.
Yeah. It is fun. I remember as a kid having the thread, or not the thread, yarn on a big needle, and like on cardboard, and we practiced doing that. And, yeah, it was fun. It's a fun thing for people to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is, I mean, obviously fixing things is a skill, but there are people that want to share those skills, either by doing them or teaching other people to do them.
And also, if you have something that has a manual to go with it that you still have, bring that. That can help the fixer do something. If you have a computer, bring any connecting cables or anything like that, your power cords. Don't just take your DVD player out and leave all the cables behind. We need those things to plug it in to see that it works. If you're bringing a bike and it's got a leak in the tire, bring a patch or maybe a new tire. And if that's not what you need, save your receipt, and the repair fixer will tell you you don't need that, so you can go return that to the store. So it's okay to bring things, buy things that you think you might need, and they can use what they do, and you can return the rest.
Right. Now you brought a few pictures. I think we should take a look at those before we run out of time here. So where is this located?
So this is our Last Repair Cafe at the Gresham Library. We got almost 100 items coming in, about 80 people, and so our fixers were busy the whole time. We were like running around bringing them water. A lot of our fixers stayed a couple hours late, but you can just see how packed the room is and how busy it looks. So there was, some people did have to wait a while, but
hey, you're at the library, they can get a book.
And it's a free thing that volunteers are doing on their own time. So for the most part, people were fine. And this is a picture of some bikes being repaired, and they're also doing like basic bike tune-ups, like brake checking and just making sure that the bike is safe if someone's getting ready for bike season, like we're about to be.
So the next one is when and where?
We're going to have our next one on Thursday, May 18th, 6 to 8 p.m., and it's going to be at Pathway Church, which was formerly Greater Gresham Church, at 3848 Northeast Division. They are going to provide hot dogs and chips and drinks, so we'll have that too, and we'll have a few kid activities, because we do get a few kids. The button sewing's great, but we'll also have some kid activities.
So it's not just about this. There are some secondary benefits of going to these. So tell me real quick, we're just about out of time. Community, building community,
sitting
socializing.
and talking to your neighbor, right there, learning.
So what do you say? What do you think are what are the best benefits? You're recycling, you're keeping stuff out of the landfill.
The fixers have a wonderful time.
Do they?
Oh, because they get to problem solve, they get to do stuff with other fixers, they get to help people. You get to talk to these people in the community about their item that they want fixed. It's just a community event, really, is what it is.
And do you have a need for more?
We do. I mean, electronics and computer fixers. Right now, that's the one thing we still need a couple more. So if anybody's listening.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So-
Shauna, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, like you said, we're changing the culture. Where instead of someone calling me and saying, where can I recycle this broken fan? I'm going to say, you know what, save that fan and bring it to this repair cafe. Or if you don't want to wait for that, I'm going to tell you where you can take it to get it fixed. Recycling should be the last resort.
Right.
It's not like you just get something and recycle it and feel good about that anymore. We should try harder. We should hang on to things. We should reuse things. If you fix it and you don't need it, donate it to someone who does.
I think that's great. That's great. Thank you. We're out of time, but it's a wonderful idea, and I'm glad that Gresham and City of Gresham and the Neighborhood Association stepped up to be part of that. So thank you.
Thank you.
So thanks for watching this first segment, and keep in mind May 18th, if you have something you want to have fixed or you want to learn how to fix it yourself, then come and this is a new way of thinking. It's going back to the old way, but it's a new way of thinking and something we should all try to adopt. Don't go away. We'll be right back with more of Community Hotline.
Possible with generous support by the Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission. The Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission advocates on behalf of the public interest on communications policy issues at the local, state, and federal levels.
My documentary was more than I ever would have dreamed of doing.
This is a community media station.
It was phenomenal.
Ready, camera one.
What is it about this place that makes so many different people come together?
Ready, camera two.
Very professional, experienced people.
You can use these industry standard pieces of equipment.
Ready, camera three. Take three.
To be rich to do this.
Open people's eyes to something they've never even thought of before.
Cool stuff happens. It becomes this community.
That's going to really change who's telling the stories and who's controlling the messaging.